All right, so if you are one of my close friends, you'd probably already know that I am an agnostic Buddhist. Buddhism itself doesn't teach me or us, the believers, to believe in a certain God, but I do believe in one. And it's the reason why I call this video The God of the Gaps. A little bit of a twist or different than the other titles, but yeah, that's how I'm going to summarize this video. Let me start with Buddhism. Buddhism teaches us about Hepasiko. You come, you see, and you believe in it. Nothing else in between. But the thing is, that feels a bit contradictory to some of its other teachings. And honestly, it does not really answer the fundamental questions about human existence itself. A few days ago, I watched a podcast that was talking about geoanthropology. And one of them stated that the one thing that existed in all types of regions in this world, in all of the patches in this world, is that a trait where humans are afraid of uncertainties. And that's also the part where many people debate it, right? Does God create humans when it is lonely, or do we humans create God because we are lonely, because we are afraid of the uncertainties? The uncertainties of simply not knowing the answer to everything. It's been a really hot and big debate, and it's also a part of my own identity crisis too. Buddhism was taught to me at a very young age, and it's still sticking to me till this day. It also made me think about my friends, that type of thinking, where, it's been planted into our heads since we were little kids. The thing is, I can't blame them if they believe in something that seems illogical or nonsensical or, just because those beliefs were planted inside of their brains from the start. I can't do anything about it, even for myself. I believe that karma is the way and the only way. And unlike many other religions where everything is answered by faith and their gods, we, Buddhists, we don't need a start for everything or an end to everything. We believe that everything happened for a reason, due to something, and causes something, right? We can tolerate the scientific evidence, the empirical evidence, and synergize it with the teachings of Buddha itself without breaking any part of the history. And that's where it differs us, the Buddhist and the non Buddhist. That's about Buddhists, by the way. The next thing, as you can see on the title, that I'm going to talk about is, of course, agnosticism, a term which I encountered in college that actually really represents me. I've always asked questions, right? About everything. I've pondered about the origin of the universe, the ultimate fate of consciousness in humans, and the very nature of reality. Who or what orchestrates the entire karma system? What are the objective rules of good and evil in this timeline? What is the start of everything? These questions aren't just academic exercises, they've been a constant hum in my mind, 24/7, at least for significant periods, not till today. So, yeah, feeding into this identity crisis that I'm sharing with you guys, my brain, the logical part of me, knows that every question needs an immediate answer. It understands that some truths unfold over time, right? Through collective human endeavor and scientific advancement, which again, eventually will be answered. Wait, I might have to rephrase the thing that I said before, not immediately. Yeah, feels weird. It tells me to be patient, right? That time itself will reveal what is currently hidden. But then, not only my brain, but my heart. My heart feels something different. It is actually a very human part for me, that yearns for certainty, for a grand explanation, right? My heart believes that some of these concepts, the origin of existence, the true nature of consciousness, and all of those things that I've said before, are simply too complex for the limited capacity of a human mind. It feels as though these are the questions that could only be grasped by a four-dimensional deity, such as a god, right? A being that operates on a plane of existence far beyond the comprehension that we've learned or known so far. Yeah. But when you try to convince other people that your religion is the correct one, or the best one, or the one that has the best teachings, the one that divides all scientific and empirical findings, the God that is the best out of all the gods, that's the moment where I lose respect. And by the way, I'm so sorry for jumping into this certain topic, but I think I'm already done with the agnostic part. I think that's all I'm going to say for about that part. Yeah. So I'm just going to say about this type of stuff, part where I don't really like. But yeah, a few moments ago, I spoke with two of my friends, a Muslim and a Christian, about this type of topic. And after so many discussions and everything in between, I finally understood that religion, in many ways, could never truly coexist with pure logic. I finally understand that a lot of people explain things because they've experienced them, because their minds are already indoctrinated and filled with all those types of teachings. The thing is, I could never be satisfied and feel content with all these type of questions. But as long as a certain answer is reasonable and logical, then I will stop discussing and debating it. I knew that if I just went through it all over it again, I will end up in the same place, right? You can never truly make logic and religion coexist. And so I stopped asking other people and started asking to myself, what do I believe? Another friend of mine told me that something, she told me about something that's pretty mind boggling, where a lot of people lose their minds because of religions, and the other half of people that lose their minds sometimes lose their sanity just because they don't have faith, right? They tried to find the answer so hard that they could not continue anymore. And that's the point where I stepped back. I realized that if I just kept on asking people, I would eventually end up in the same place where those people die. And if I went too far, those things could become the future of my reality. So, yeah, that's the core of the reason why I believe in a God. I do not believe that everything has to have an answer at this moment, and only time will tell. But in the meantime, to not lose my sanity and to find temporary contentment and satisfaction, I have to believe in all the teachings of the Buddha and in the existence of that four-dimensional deity that is the one above all. So, yeah, I guess that's it from me, and see you next time.